Welcome to the Soul of Small Business Hidden Heroes, where we delve into the heart and soul of local entrepreneurs, uncovering their passions, values, and the essence that fuels their businesses, forging connections that resonate deeply with our listeners. Join us as we shine a spotlight on the unsung heroes shaping our communities one heartfelt conversation at a time. Another edition of Soul of the Small Business Hidden Heroes. And our hidden hero guest today is Cameron Brown, the owner of Liberty Alarm Systems. So Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with how you got into the alarm business.
Okay.
And what is your alarm business? Who do you serve?
So it really starts with my wife and her family. My father-in-law is a retired police officer from Mesa PD. I think it was like 27 years. Mesa PD. He retired.
What's his name?
Clarence Shaw.
Clarence.
He retired as a lieutenant, I believe, with Mesa PD. And during that time, towards the end of his career, he started Liberty Alarm. Then I met my wife. We got married. My background is actually in real estate, property management, real estate. I was never too great at real estate. I wasn't terrible, but I wasn't killing it like you. So with 4 kids at home, well, at the time I didn't have 4 kids. I had 3 kids. It was just another way. I saw my father-in-law was getting busy, and I was like, you know what? That's cool. Go earn some extra money, help him out. Why not?
Right.
So I started helping him out, and then after, it was fairly quickly, within a few months, I realized, hold on, this is kind of a cool gig. I really enjoy it. I get to talk with some awesome people, sometimes in their moment of need, which was kind of interesting. So then I just started having conversations with my father-in-law, where are you going to go from here? What's your end game? And through some conversations, we came to the conclusion that I would partner with him.
And it's not for everyone. I mean,
no.
You're growing and expanding. I know you're still looking for additional team members because of your growth. Yes. But it's not for everybody. What do you think attracted you to it? Because it's a really good fit for you.
Yeah. So I enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy hard work. Building things, putting things together. I used to do quite a bit of woodworking. I'm so busy now, I don't get to do as much of it as I would like. But I like working with my hands and putting things together and figuring things out. So it was kind of twofold. It was, 1, earning extra money was awesome. But 2, it fulfilled that side of my wants and needs that I didn't really necessarily get with real estate. So that's what attracted me to it in the beginning.
Right.
Was having that satisfaction of building something, putting something together, having somebody be appreciative of what that is. Also
finding a solution to really tough things.
Yeah, I was just about to say, a lot of times we show up and they're explaining to us what's going on, what's happening, why they would like a security system. And so being able to take that information and then build out a system that works for them was gratifying. Yeah. So I think between those 2 things, and then the third aspect of it is that I always wanted a business. I wanted to start my own business. That's always something I've really enjoyed. But I quickly realized that I'm not a true entrepreneur. There's just different aspects about it that at this point in my life, or at that point in my life, I didn't feel like I embodied. So it was the ability to jump into a business and help it grow from a launch pad that I felt comfortable with. So that was
So that was when you started. And where are things now? How do you view things now? Because you've had tremendous growth.
We've had a lot of growth, yes.
Because you're not an entrepreneur.
Well, so when I came on with my father-in-law, we decided to have me spend a lot more time in the business. Obviously he's had his career and everything like that. He's more pushing towards retirement, whereas I'm still young and I need a full career.
Right.
So we had discussions, and we were both on the same page that it was go time. If I was going to jump in feet first, that growth was what we needed to aim for. And we were lucky enough that my father-in-law, shortly before I joined, had built some relationships with some small businesses here locally, some restaurants that ended up growing tremendously. And now they're in 5 states, things like that. So with that, building those relationships and having that drive to grow, it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
because you got both residential and commercial.
Correct.
So let's start with the residential. Most people, they're just wanting to make sure they can't have break-ins.
Yeah, there's numerous reasons why somebody gets a security system in the residential side. And first joining and jumping into this world of security, I thought it was mostly for that. But I've come to find out there's a lot of reasons. We've had customers come to us because they're having a problem, unfortunately, with kids sneaking out and getting it mixed in with the wrong crowd. So it's more about instead of keeping people out, it's about keeping people in and understanding so that they can teach their children and things like that. We've had customers who have children with special needs, and so they need something that allows that child to be a little bit more independent, but that they can still keep an eye on them.
Right.
So something like that. We've had elderly folks who are living alone because they're still independent enough that they want to be living alone, but the children aren't necessarily. They're starting to fear that it's becoming that time, so we can put in a wellness camera so they can check in with 2-way audio, which allows the elderly person to feel like, okay, I still have my independence, but I also have a really short, quick way to get a hold of the people that I need to get a hold of. So
yeah, I know people when they don't hear from if they don't answer the phone, and it's like, oh my gosh, are they okay? Are they okay?
Yeah. We recently did for a customer of ours. It was an elderly lady. She actually lives right around the corner from me, and she had fallen, and she didn't have a pendant or anything. So we went in there to help, and we installed a couple of cameras, a couple with 2-way audio where she can call out to her children, but we also installed a pendant or programmed a pendant for her, so that in the event that she falls or anything again, that she can push that button. So, and
pets are another one.
Pets
are
too.
Another big one.
Yeah. So, a lot of people, their pets are their children.
That's right. They're fur babies.
And we actually do have a customer. They have a dog that's older and it has seizures quite often, and so they have to rush to help the dog when that happens. And so they have, they have a camera right over that dog's bed, so that they can keep an eye on it without having to keep walking over there and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different reasons.
A lot of
people don't think about.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you've got the commercial side, and I remember you telling about how far, like I think it was some fleet. There were a bunch of trucks and stuff, and you can put lenses in that you can see way, way far away. Yeah, so the camera aspect, we have the camera world, I mean, it moves faster than I can install. But yeah, we have cameras like PTZs, pan tilt zooms, that you see like on like big grocery stores, things like that have the big, huge lenses. We've installed some of those for some customers that have large yards. Right. And at the front of the yard is the office building, but at the very, very back is like the mechanic shop and things like that to keep their fleet up and running. And we put in a couple of cameras there that you can zoom all the way to the back and read the little ROC number that's on the side of the truck. We can do a lot of cool things. A lot of the cameras that we install on the IP side have like
analytics, facial recognition. Some of them even have license plate detection. So if you've trespassed somebody off the property and it sees that face or that license plate, it sends an automatic notification to whoever that notification is set up for, so that they know that they're not supposed to be back. So technology is going crazy, but there's a lot of different things we can do.
So anybody who's thinking about hiring somebody to install, because a lot of people think they just do it themselves, the Nest cameras. What is the difference between when do you really need professional help? What would your advice be there?
I guess it really depends on the need, right? You can order, you can go online and order a security system that you put in. You're not going to get a ton of support when something goes wrong or isn't working properly.
You get to figure it all out.
Yeah, you have to figure it all out. So a lot of it is weighed on like how savvy are you with technology, and how important is support for you.
Right.
And then on top of that, how important is it to know that what you're installing and putting in is done correctly? We walk into some people's homes that have ordered those ones, and they're like, it doesn't work. And I was told to install it this way, and it's not working. I'm like, well, technically it's not installed right. Like, it's not, but there's nobody that they can call.
Right.
So having that support is huge. Knowing that if something goes wrong, you can call somebody, and it's going to get taken care of. The other thing is understanding how a system should be built. A lot of people think it's pretty straightforward. You just put a sensor on every door, you put a motion in the corner, but it's more than that. And I think for me, one of the benefits of being partnered with my father-in-law as a retired police officer, he early on taught me a few tips and tricks.
Right.
Like if we're trying to prevent burglaries and stuff like that, then we need to think how they're going to enter the home.
Right.
So he taught me more often than not, they're going to go straight to the master bedroom. And where's the quickest path to get to the master bedroom? So I'll always recommend a motion sensor in the master bedroom, or on the path to the master bedroom. So things like that, having a deeper understanding of, okay, why is this happening? Why do I need to put it here? That's
the knowledge, the 10,000 hours to mastery. First, you don't know what you don't know.
Which was a lot.
When you're first starting, we all are that way. And so somebody installing their own, and it's the same in anything, whether it's law, medicine, real estate, plumbing. Every business, every family, all of us as individuals, we have certain principles and things that guide how we make decisions and run our life. What would you say are yours?
Honesty and integrity are a big one. Punctuality is a big one. Maybe that has to do more with my OCD than anything. But honesty, integrity are probably the two biggest driving factors for me. And by no means am I perfect or great at it. I'm learning every single day.
And that means different things to different people, honesty and integrity. I've experienced it with you, and I know that I feel very comfortable when I send somebody that you're not going to say, okay, you need this. If they can't afford it, they can't afford it. You'll find another solution. And you're not going to oversell, which, there are a lot of businesses that's what it's about. And then sometimes you have to say, it can't be done.
Sometimes. I've had my fair share of those. For me, the way that I look at honesty and integrity, part of being honest is understanding who somebody is, in my opinion. When I brought my first tech on board, one of the things that I really, really stressed with them was that, the way that we do business is that we treat everybody as if they're family, as if they're friends. I have some customers that are truly friends. And to me, being honest isn't just like, okay, here's your quote, this is being honest. It's more than that.
Yeah.
Honesty is more of, it's learning about them, who they are, what makes them tick, why do they, diving into them is being honest to me. It's so that's been a huge, probably the number one driver. And
that's common among small businesses.
Yes, it is.
And I'm curious, why do you think that is? Because that's a very common trait of that deeper level of understanding and connecting.
I think it has to do more with, large corporations, they're just worried about the bottom line. I learned in my real estate days, there's literally, from what I could break down, there was two ways of doing business in real estate. There was the churn and burn. I'm going to buy leads. I'm going to, go through every single lead I can, and I refer to it as the churn and burn. They don't really build relationships. It's let me, buy or sell a home for you, and then let's move on. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, where there's the realtors and the teams like yourself and your team and your family who build relationships and foundations with people and listen to them and help them through what for some of these people is the biggest decision they'll ever make, or the hardest time that they've ever been through. And by building those relationships, your business continues to grow. Whereas the people on the other side, the churn and burn, they find themselves in hard times when the market turns, things like that. So the reason why I think it's found in small business is for that reason. When somebody's a small business, every single customer matters. Every single client, everything matters because that's how they earn their living, right? And so they take the time to treat that customer with the utmost respect. They value them. They don't see them as a bottom line.
Right.
They see them as a human being.
And I think that's felt. I mean, it's hard to say what makes it different.
Yeah.
But our clients, they feel that.
Yeah.
With small business, I think they actually do feel that.
Yeah.
Because it does matter so much. Because if not, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I like how you differentiated that. And what I heard you say in particular about that, the churn and burn, and I call that transactional. Yeah. Versus, we're all here to serve each other. Yeah. In one way or another, whether you're, a meal, cooking delicious food.
I love
detail.
delicious.
I know you do. Detailing the heck out of a vehicle and making it really beautiful, designing an amazing, home or room. I mean, just no matter what it is that we do, helping somebody through a legal thing, helping with a medical thing, we're all helping each other enrich our lives. And that's kind of that backbone of there are so many things that we do that are hidden that we take for granted, but we're all hidden heroes in so many different ways. Some of it business related and some of it not business related. Yeah. In the way that we serve the community. Yeah. And I know that you serve your community in a variety of different ways. What are some things that people may not know about you?
I don't know. I'm a pretty open book for the most part.
But you're also humble.
Well,
and understated.
I try to be.
That's who you are.
A lot of people who are super close to me know that I speak Spanish. I served a mission in Peru. I learned Spanish there, but a lot of people in the business world don't know that. So sometimes it's really funny. I'm on a job site or something, and somebody's trying to get some information, particularly the commercial side. And I'll step in and I'll just start speaking Spanish, and it'll catch people off guard, and they're like, "That's weird."
What a wonderful gift, though.
Yes, it's been a huge blessing to be able to do
Communication is so critical, and just one misunderstanding, all of a sudden the trust factor or the doubt creeps in, or it's just a miss.
Yeah. So, there. As far as things that people don't realize about me, I'm a pretty open book. If people know me, know the things I like, food, football,
Food, football, family.
Yeah, food, football, family, firearms. I used to do competitive shooting. A lot of people.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I do enjoy that. Both my parents are from small town, northern Arizona, so I grew up hunting, fishing, camping. Love spending time outdoors.
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
It's a good thing in the business that you're in.
yeah. Sometimes I wish I could get out of the city a little bit more. Recently, my parents moved back up north, so we're trying to get up there more and more. But my oldest is now 11 and dancing and things like that. So
you've got a busy, busy, busy life.
It's busy. It's very busy. Yes.
So I'm curious, what might some of the myths about security and security systems?
So I don't know how accurate this is, but I feel there's like a stigmatism within the industry. Unfortunately, the people who get the most media attention and things like that are the people who are doing things wrong. Large companies that they found out that they were skimming money or fraud or things like that. And then on top of that, you have the door-to-door salesmen who are constantly knocking, taking advantage of people. And I'm not to say that there aren't people out there who are knocking doors that are doing it well and doing it, with integrity. But unfortunately, those don't really make the news. So I feel like at some points, there's a stigmatism within the industry.
Yeah.
Like, you're just one of those. But we don't do a lot of the things that the industry normally does. We don't do door knocking. My father-in-law was very clear up front, like this is not something that we do. We're not there to prey on people who are in a tough time. And then the other thing is that they sell people things that they don't need. Which we do come across quite a bit. So a myth, I guess, from my perspective, is the industry is not really like that. There are, in every industry, people who are doing things the wrong way. But finding those people who enjoy what they do, love what they do, and operate with honesty and integrity makes all the difference. So that's probably the biggest myth, is that we're not all that way. We do care. We do care. We're not just trying to sell you something and lock you into a long-term contract, stuff like that.
Well, and that's an interesting point. You don't do long-term contracts.
We don't, no.
And that's a choice.
That is a choice. And the reason we don't do a long-term contract is because we feel that if you're unhappy with your service, if you're unhappy with us, I don't want to keep you locked in. One, it's going to be miserable for you, but two, it's going to be miserable for me too. My time is valuable, and I don't want headaches. So we don't do long-term contracts. We start off with a year contract, but even then we've had people reach out to us, not because they were upset, but there was a death, they may have to sell the home, can we cancel it, things like that. We'll always work with somebody.
There's a difference between transactional and relational.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that's how it should be. So we don't door knock, we don't do long-term contracts, we don't finance a bunch of stuff, we don't sell systems to people who probably shouldn't be having them. We try to focus on, doing things the right way. So.
Yeah, I have found when you do the right thing, the right thing, number 4, then the rest follows.
Yes.
Then it comes.
Yep. Agreed.
Just do the right thing and it'll be fine.
Yeah. There's times where I've had to swallow my pride. I made a mistake.
No.
Yeah. And I try to do the right thing. Sometimes I don't even see the right thing in the moment. My father-in-law, his background on the police force has really helped me understand this. At times I can be a very emotionally driven person, and he's very calm and collected and very rarely gets riled up. So something will happen and I'll call him and I'm like, can you believe this? Like, what are we gonna do? And he'll talk 5 minutes on the phone and he's like, look, you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. So that's been eye-opening for me to learn that, to be like, okay, hold on, back up, calm down, Let's look at things from a different perspective.
Yeah. So you would say that he's been one of the inspirations in your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am lucky. I am fifth of 7 children. My parents were awesome. My dad's always been blue collar. Like I said, small town. And then I married my wife, and her parents accepted me like I was their own.
Mm-hmm.
I married their only daughter, which is a little bit intimidating. And her mom is her best friend. So what that means is I can never move 10 minutes away from them. That's the furthest I can go. But both my parents and my wife's parents have been a huge influence on me. They embody all of these different aspects of things that I've been talking about this whole time. They very much embody them. You know, I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets that, and I have 2 sets of parents.
Yeah.
So it's been really good.
That affect you both personally and in business. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and they're very different. My parents and her parents are very different, and so it's been really good to get multiple perspectives. There's times where, like, I'm going through something and I need to talk to someone, and I'll call my father-in-law or my mother-in-law because I know that their perspective is what I need. And there's other times where I'll call my parents because I need their perspective. But yeah, I'm very lucky.
So it's interesting that you mentioned, the challenges which every business has, especially when you're in growth and especially if you're doing well. And you had mentioned in our networking group, which is how we met.
Yep.
You lead us through some growth and inspiration things, and you're big into books.
Yes.
So what are some of your favorite books?
Oof, that's hard. I mean,
well, I love the one that you
days to
yeah, right. I love the one that you. I've read it, but you introduced it to the group that you're working from right now. Fail Forward Fast.
Fail Forward, yeah. So that one's really good. I read that one years ago.
I did too.
And then I've kind of been picking through it recently as I've been doing the growth moments in our network.
What's your biggest takeaway from that?
That failure is okay. I think
Oh my gosh, yeah.
oftentimes, the fast-paced life we live in, we feel like failure is not okay. I can't let everybody know that I failed. It couldn't be further from the truth.
I know.
The truth is, failing is a good thing. It's a very good thing. It can be a good thing.
Can be, yeah.
It can be.
Now, if you're doing the same failure over and over again, maybe not so much.
maybe get some help. And that's another thing is that I've had to learn. I used to be, or I still am. I'm very opinionated. I like things done my way. That's probably stems from my OCD. But in the recent years, I've had to come to learn, like, I can't do everything. I can't, I'll destroy myself trying to get everything done by myself. And so it's been really humbling to rely on other people and realize that my failures were my failures because of just that.
Right.
It was me. It was all about me, when in reality I needed some help.
Well, we don't get you if you're not taking care of you.
Exactly. So I really liked that book, but I think my favorite book is probably The Go-Giver by Bob Burg and David Mann. It's a really easy read.
Yeah.
It's written in the style of like a parable, and it really, everybody who's come to work for me, or with me, I should say, I've had them read the book because I feel like it embodies how I want to do business. And if you haven't read it, it's awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you have.
I have, yeah.
Yes.
I've given many copies away.
It's so good.
It is so good.
And it's an easy read.
Yeah.
Who Moved My Cheese is another good one.
That's another good one.
Tony Hsieh's book, Delivering Happiness.
Oh, I haven't read that one.
Tony Hsieh is the founder of Zappos. Unfortunately, he has passed now. But he was like the Google before Google. So when he started Zappos, he had sold a corporate company that had gotten too corporate for him. So when he started Zappos, are you familiar with Zappos, the shoe?
Yeah.
He wanted it to be different than that. And so it was like, come in when you want, like the Google before Google. They had all the fun stuff at the office. It was more about the individual. Like, how can I make you happy so that in turn you're a good employee, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was that mindset of like, I don't need to mold you into an employee. I need to understand who you are so I can help you help me. That one was really good.
Yeah.
It's called Delivering Happiness.
Delivering Happiness. I'll put that on my list.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
There's so many books that I've read that I love. Lately, I've been into a lot of the... I listen to a lot of podcasts now just because I'm so busy. But like a lot of the military, like different things. Right now, I'm listening to something about Mogadishu, which a lot of people don't... they associate it with the movie Black Hawk Down.
Right.
I've been really leaning towards like and understanding the people who have fought for our country and hearing their perspective. It's a little humbling to see the things that they've gone through and to see and to hear, you know, their experiences. Kind of puts into perspective like, okay, my troubles that I'm having today really aren't that bad. It's okay. Like, take a deep breath.
So, on the client side of things, all the people that you're helping, what is the most important thing that you would like them to say about you after you've helped them?
Like my goal? Like what would I like to hear from them?
Yeah. So if they were telling their neighbor about the job that you just did for them, and you could hear what they were saying and that it was genuine, what would you like?
That term you just used, genuine. I think that honesty and integrity, like I've said, that's what I try to embody, being genuine. So that's what I would like to hear. And I have heard that. And it's very gratifying to hear, you know, when I step through somebody's door and they say, you've come highly recommended. Or, you know, my friends recommended you and they spoke highly of you. And, you know, you helped them. Like those things to me are kind of one of those indicators like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. In fact, a customer that was referred to from your daughter, Sydney, had said some very nice things as well. And so to me, that's what I would like to hear. To know that those principles that I'm trying to embody, you know, that sometimes I fail at, that those are being conveyed. Because that means I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
What would be the worst thing you could hear?
That somebody felt like I took advantage of them or that I didn't care. That would crush me. To hear that somebody feels like I took advantage of them. Which, it goes back to those people in the industry who do take advantage.
Right. Because there is that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your logo.
All right.
Liberty Alarm Security and Home Automation.
Yeah. So when I came on board, the logo and stuff was different. Not that it was bad.
Right.
But I felt like we could freshen it up, things like that. And so my father-in-law was on board. We did a thing called Logo Tournament. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So it's a website where you can say, this is what I'm looking for. People from all over the world will submit entries.
Right.
And then you put up a prize, right? So, I don't know, $300, $500, whatever it is. So people all over the world can submit to try and win. And with my father-in-law being a retired police officer, the badge was added by somebody with the negative space, so for the A, which was really cool. But a lot of people don't realize it, the thin blue line.
I did not.
Are you familiar with the thin blue line?
My dad is a retired police officer.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it probably means a lot to you as well.
Yeah.
But the thin blue line is just our way, it's just a little nod to the public servants out there that literally put their life on the line.
Did not catch
like
that, but it makes perfect sense.
So, I'm proud of it. I think it does well to tip the hat to my father-in-law who served on Mesa PD and whatnot. But then it also lets people know. It's funny because we have quite a few customers who are police officers. Some of them are my previous buddies with my father-in-law and things like that. And the police officers will always notice it.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they'll a lot of times they'll say something. Oh, hey, I like the thing with mine.
Thank you for the tip. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is interesting to see.
Well, and I also like the 3 qualities: responsive, professional, and affordable.
Yeah, we try to be as responsive as possible, and like I said before, or maybe I didn't, but when you call, you're gonna get a hold of me or my father-in-law,
Right.
Which is huge for us. We want you to know that we value you, we value your time, we value you.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to get us professional. I mean, we try to be professional, and here I am sitting with my hair all over the place and whatnot.
Who says that's not professional?
Right. I'm thinking about growing it out. That's anyway.
Well, my son who has the man bun, I get it.
Yes, yeah. And then affordable. We try to be as affordable as possible. We realize that we live in a day and age where everything is about the bottom line. Everything, politics, like you name it, everything is about the bottom line. The right to be, or the need to feel protected shouldn't always have to come at such a high cost.
Right.
We will always work with people as best we can. If there's a financial need, we'll do everything we can to make it work for them, because they need to feel safe and secure as well.
And be affordable.
And yes.
I love the concept that it doesn't have to be one or the other.
No.
Why can't it be both?
Exactly. And we've installed systems for customers who, I've given them the quote or the estimate, and they call and they're like, hey Cameron, I'm sorry, it's too expensive. I can't make that happen right now. And so I'll say, well, what is it? Like, where is your budget? Where do you need to be? And we'll come up with a creative solution. Right. And I tell them, like, hey, you don't have to do everything all at once. Let's get the basics in. Like, let's, if I can give them a discount, obviously, like retired police officers or current police officers, they get a discount. But if I can put in a basic system now so that they feel safe and secure, and then with time, add to it. We've done that before too.
It's like real estate. I can't afford my dream house. You have to start somewhere and then grow.
Exactly.
At least you have one layer.
Exactly. So, that's the big kicker on the affordable, is that everyone should be able to feel safe and secure in their own home, their business, whatever the case may be.
So, are there some products that you also do, like the door handles that have the codes?
Yeah, so smart products for... so...
More than just, cameras and alarms.
Yeah, absolutely. Access control, smart home, automation, all that kind of stuff. We do a lot of that stuff. So...
And smart home automation, what does that entail?
Yeah, so... that's kind of a buzzword these days, but really, a lot of people don't realize that the security systems that we install nowadays are actually like a hub for smart homes. So even if you just want the security, I just want my doors in a motion or whatever, you still have the ability to add stuff. So there's things like lighting and cameras that can be added, and door locks and garage door openers. I mean, you could go down a whole rabbit hole of automation. But
did I close my garage door?
Yes. So the most common ones are like smart locks, like you said, that has the pin pad on the door. Garage doors are very popular, so that they can open and close their garage door from their app, or even just see if it's open or closed. And then lighting. We have a customer that does a lot of the, I'm spacing the name, where they get on a ship. They're in the medical profession, and so they go and they do charitable stuff on the military ship that goes around the world and does
Red Cross and
that kind of stuff. So at times they're gone for a while. So we installed some lights for them, and then they automated them, programmed them on a schedule, so that like 6 p.m. the lights kick on,
and
then at 6 a.m. it kicks off. So it looks like somebody's home. Things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot that you can do.
Yeah.
A lot.
So much.
Yes. Yes. And the nice thing about it is if you do it all, so it's like the ecosystem, right? There's the Android and then the Apple.
Right.
And once you're in the ecosystem, it's kind of hard to move on from that ecosystem. You know, you tend to buy, if you have an iPhone, you tend to buy a MacBook and all that stuff. It's the same thing.
So choose wisely?
Yeah. I'll never, like, recently I did an estimate where somebody had a Ring product, a Ring doorbell, and we were going to put in a security system. And Ring does not integrate into the security systems that I use or I would recommend. And so they asked me, they're like, should I replace it? And I said, well, is it working? And this particular customer said, yeah, it's working. And I said, well, it's really up to you. The only difference about what I'm going to put in is it's going to have a different name and it's going to be integrated into the app, but it'll work very similarly. So it's up to you if you want to spend the money, but if it was me, I wouldn't. And so there, I mean, heaven forbid they're on two different apps. Some people, it means a lot to be all on the same app. But yeah, that's...
Oh, you just have a workaround. So how often do they fail? I mean, what's the lifespan that you have to either go fix something or replace it, or...
How often does what fail? Like any of these products?
Yeah, that's a general question.
Okay.
So somebody putting in a security system, is it going to last for 30 years?
I'm replacing some, but yeah, they've been in there for 20, 30 years.
Well, I've got a gate that's, I think, 40 years.
Yeah, so 5 to 7 years probably on a lot of the peripherals is standard for it to last that long. A lot of products will go longer than that. But it really just depends on the situation. So like a video doorbell, if it's facing south, if it's getting hit, you know, from the sun, it's probably going to have a lot less of a it's going to have a lot less of a lifespan.
Right, shorter
just
lifespan.
Because here in Arizona, I mean, it gets beat up all summer long. Whereas one that's in the shade is probably going to last a little bit longer. So a lot of that depends on that. And obviously we warranty a bunch of our stuff. So door sensors, motion sensors, those will last a long time, very long time, you know. I don't even know. I mean, like
so it's one of those things, once you invest, it's a long-term investment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not to say that things don't fail, it's technology.
So it's not like a phone. It's not like, oh, I need a new phone every time technology comes out. There are those that have to have it, but
yes. No, when you install a system, you're pretty good. Now, the thing that drives a lot of the changes that people don't realize is the cellular infrastructure, right? So for a long time, when we moved to wireless, it was on 3G, and then it went to 4G, and now we're on 5G. So when they installed 5G, the 3G infrastructure was removed to make room for the 5G infrastructure within the cellular, like Verizon and those things. So all of the equipment that was on 3G had to be, there was like a sunset phase. It has to be removed because it won't work.
Right.
So something like that's like out of my hands. But a lot of the equipment that's going in now, like when 4G started rolling out, they knew 5G was on the horizon, so a lot of those chips and stuff are 4G/5G compatible to try and get as much life out of them as possible. But that's just the motherboard. The peripherals, like the door sensors and things like that, they'll continue to work.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Very good to know.
So sometimes it's out of my hands, but years.
Yeah.
Years, ideally.
Yeah.
Unless you have kids, then nothing lasts years.
Okay, well, thank you for spending time with us, Cameron. We really enjoyed learning a little bit more, or a lot more, actually. I learned a number of things, not just about the industry in your business, but about you personally.
Thank you.
Thank you for being one of the backbone of the small businesses that just is the makeup of our community.
Thank you. I appreciate it.